Hello and welcome. It is that of the 16th day of January, 2021. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel, all bets, trades, and of the like. Well, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. Going to go over Bitcoin, Tezos, and I'm also going to be talking a little bit of hockey when I'm finished with the charts. All right, let's start off here amongst the Bitcoin because I'm still trying to determine if this move on this particular time frame, the 4 hour, the down move is a real one or not. If it can hold and stay below, and so far it's doing that because what a big move this was for about 8 periods to break above it, then it would continue to be such. As it comes up and making a higher low to whatever big low down below, what a run. So at least can I get the real only what it had was this. So it did manage to make a higher low on this. There's a higher low. Then you can make another one, and then we can make another one. We have this high. Even this is a lower high to here. This high, and right now this high, but we could support this, and even we can make a lower high if we come up here 39 and then pull back down to like 35 something and make a higher low. Right now it's higher lows and lower highs. Symmetrical triangle is always going to be the case. Indecision, usually these things can and oftentimes do result within the path of least resistance. Right now the path of least resistance is higher, and there's a bullish perspective upon it, but that's, of course, if it's able to break. And I'm going for the bearish part of this, holding and staying below. It managed to come up to near the 18 average of highs and above Fibonacci earlier. And now we see a red candle going down, and halfway through this, it's just holding at the lower end of this area here. It's telling me that not a caution should be put into play. We still have to be considered the fact that this could trade in a sideways range. We've had support established from this Fibonacci line at 34, and even down the previous low, it could still come down and hold because this previous low coincides with this. And these are all possibilities. And of course, because it's had a fantastic run, it is obviously, it's going to have a big correction down at some point, and it hasn't had it yet. All we've had is just this little bits in here. Question is, does it happen with the highs that we've already placed, or does it happen when the highs come much higher than this? As long as there's buyers willing to buy at these prices and the sellers aren't going to aggressively sell it down, and as the markets move, as pretty much, it's going to go higher. And in tune, it could very easily still go up to 50, 60, 70, and who knows how much higher before we have any major price corrections. But there's going to be a major price correction, and the higher this goes up, the bigger the price correction is going to be. And it's already had close to a 2x or 4x depending on which point, and even higher than that you want to go from. 2x from previous highs, but really close to a 4x move from this major consolidation point in here. And yeah, it's had a bigger move from this point, but markets can correct via that of price in through time. And quite frankly, this is a decent sized time correction in here when we consider like May all the way into like here. But a big move, as we can see viewing it from this perspective as it is. And make sure, of course, within risk reward management, that you're able to handle the situation, that you can handle this going down, and you realize, okay, if it's going to happen, what's my best tune as far as consolidating your own portfolio? What different things can you come into play with as you look at different things like precious metals, gold and silver? If you were the following, a major fan of silver, but at least the investment, and that's something you want as a primary large investment, for whatever reason, I don't care. Let's assume in this situation that you believe that the price of cryptocurrencies are probably you're not sure of. But even if you are bearish on it, you do got to realize that these markets are going to go up and down moves, of course. And then furthermore, you understand how the game of gambling works. and you can say, okay, yeah, I don't believe in it, but I look at like places like Silver Gold Bull or AppMex or whichever site you're looking at that you buy from. They accept payment via cryptocurrency, so I can literally go out and there's multiple ways I can end up getting silver and gold practically for free or for pretty much nothing, or definitely damn cheap. If you buy gold, if you just bought Bitcoin at these lower prices and you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna now buy some gold and silver. And it can even be just simple things like, especially if you bought where you're doing really well, where your portfolio is up like many X folds higher, 6, 7, and anything higher times higher. And even 3, 4 times you can do this with as well. Where you can pull your initial investment out into gold or silver again, and then continue playing around with cryptos, and you can look at what the ratio is. Okay, back then I would have been able to buy X amount of silver and gold. I'm going to buy what I would have been bought that back then and realize, oh, it's that percentage of my bankroll in cryptos. Okay, that's how it goes. And then different ways of trading back and forth. As however, what if you're day trading at any kind of level? There can be spectacular profits that can be ensured. And then, okay, now you look at your portfolio based on that. Okay, I've outperformed the market this much. I think it's time where I could take this. And you can just accumulate a lot more gold and silver or however different ways by doing such. So what I find very interesting, and I haven't listened to Peter Schiff in a coon's age. It's been a long time. But way back in the day, I presume so today, he sells like gold different, like his business. And he's extremely anti-precious, or no, he's not anti, he's extremely bullish precious metals and extremely precious gold. He's anti-cryptocurrency, but he's got a business where he'll accept, if you want to get out of cryptos or you want to just use some of your cryptos to get what he's got, you can pay with Bitcoin. And I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't you? You don't have to accept the Bitcoin. You have companies out there that literally will go out there and take the payment in Bitcoin, Litecoin, whichever have you, and then make the sale. And then, of course, they'd have to pay a fee for such, but they would work out where, yeah, I can pay this amount and I can definitely do the trade. I think a lot of people are going to be forced into such to be accepting cryptocurrencies. And even one interesting person, I'm not going to mention who this person is, it's a hockey-related channel, and very anti-cryptocurrencies, and has mentioned it once in a video only, and I think a lot is because of my comments, because of me commenting in 7 to 8 different videos over the last 7, 8 months or more. And it's a weird thing where if that gentleman was to say, and I've tried to explain a little bit to this, except I just you only have to talk a little bit about it in your channels whenever the topic is needed, and I don't do it much, and I really hate it when I really dislike it, or loathe, that's a better word, when people highly over aggressively try to sell their products in different ways on this. But when you can flip it in here and there, different stuff, and have like YouTube, like Bitcoin stuff in there, you never know. Sometimes you can get like gift and donations that way, and if you ever needed to use it and give it sending or receiving funds in many ways, I do believe the cryptos are going to work for that. Let's move on to Tezos, and let's talk about hockey after that. And I haven't looked at it against the dollar yet, but I have prepared for it against the Bitcoin. So you're going to get what I prepared for, followed by that of raw analysis. The daily term time frame has a little bit of rising volume today. And I think this is nice. I like this. There's still time, and there's not going to be much more time. There's 3 hours and 15 minutes left in the close. 2 hours 15. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't usually make that math mistake. It's 4:45, so 7 on the subtraction. Anyway, it has a nice little breakout. So we have this major decline where price action literally couldn't even get into the band. It stayed the entire duration of time pretty much since the start of December below the 18 average of lows. When these things, this is going to go off. I can pretty much guarantee you it's going to go off at some point. And I like that damn chances when it goes, it's going to go much higher than 1,000 after it goes up big. Meaning, I don't think it's going to go 300 to 800, 900 or whatever. That's the way I'm saying it, because it's just a matter of time. Now, this is an attempt for this to do such. Let's take a look at this on the shorter term time frame, on the 4-hour chart. Practically every single candle from this low went up. There were a few sideways ones. This one went down as a sideways. There was 2 sideways here. There's a sideways one here. But what a phenomenal move it was. It got above this level of resistance at the 734 handle. And even now, where the line is held at 792, represents the resistance from this period at 7 a.m. January the 6th, or 10 days ago. So it came back and it held this area of support with a higher low within it. And now, of course, we take a look at this on the daily. It's getting above all of this type of stuff. So this is big. Can we hold these areas? 18 is going to start to rise on here. I mean, this could even just propel, and a lot of it would be like, I'd rather that happens. But amongst the short term, it's having its correctionary moves. 1-hour term time frame. All right. So it gets above it on the 20 session, and 1, 2, 3, just continuously higher highs, higher lows, like so many higher lows. Up until 10 o'clock this morning. Now it's been doing lower lows and lower highs, but it's last 3 or 4 we've been matching these lows, sideways range, 18's flattening out. And of course, we've already been to the 4, but when this thing, if it's going to extend, how's the 4 we're going to go? Well, this is where I'd be looking for support, of course. If, of course, it's going to go down. And I said, of course, twice. It's looking like it wants to break down. If it does, of course, that's what it does. On the 15-minute term, it made to this high at 8 o'clock. So here's that attempt to regain it. Didn't do it. Obviously, it matched it to this high, was unable to make a higher low, and it didn't succeed within its support test of the matching low. And this low area here has been resistance for 1, 2 periods in here, pullback. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Now it's pulled down, or pulled back to the down part. And hasn't hit this level of support yet, but it does tell me if you're looking for anything that short term may not be so good, that might be the case. However, all this means is, as I've already been in the long term, 1 hour. So be it if it goes down. 4 hour, it'd be finally having its correctionary phase, and it's already doing amazingly on the daily. And then the weekly term time frame, it is much, much lower. But I mean, at some point, it's got to make a move to the 18 average of lows, and it can do it fast. I've seen it do it like one period so many times over. I'm not saying it's going to be this one, and that's why I say at some point it's going to happen. But I believe that, I mean, these things are supposed to do things like this, and they're going to have amazing upruns. And that's just I'm going to react to the situations when they do, and trade the markets accordingly. Because risk reward management is always job number 1, and then always using mathematics the best way that I can. Thankfully, I understand numbers very well, and I can do mathematical equations as I feel fit, and I usually do at different times. I'm now going to switch this over to fantasy hockey. So for those who were here for just the charts, thank you for tuning in. And within fantasy hockey, I came out just thinking over a year ago, okay, I think this might work, this hockey strategy, and did a lot of that mathematical analysis that I've talked about in spreadsheet work, and it just has done that. It's just worked out very, very well. I won a decent 4-figure score in the regular season, then I won a decent 5-figure score in the playoffs. And the playoffs was a 2-month run back in the months of August and September. Then October, November, and December, and the first few days in January, it was an off season. Today's the 4th day of the National Hockey League, and I've won several hundreds of dollars on the first 3 days, but no real big wins. But that changed as I won the first game between the New Jersey Devils and the Boston Bruins, and it was pretty much it was watched exactly how I thought it'd be. I mean, I hate debate unders in the regular season. The final score was 2-1, but I mean, it was. I just don't think both teams don't have great offenses, I thought. And I end up winning first place, which was a $1,000 score in today's fantasy. As there is a game, and I raced $200 on the game, a little over. So a 6x win or over 1,000 profit. $8 game, I played 20 of them. That was 160 of that 205. And then miscellaneous games all the way down to a dime. And 103 points is what I scored first place. Wins 1,000. And the same 5,000 two-man advantage, I also hit a $22.50 prize, which had the exact same score as my other first place prize in the dollar game as well, or quarter game rather. My dollar game won me 87, and that's 22. And then I also got 75 points and winning 15. I had so many levels to I could tell you the strategy in like one paragraph or two. And then I've added so many advanced levels to it. And one of the advanced levels today is, okay, this is the type of game I think it's going to be amongst the boring hockey game. And it's just fantastic. And I'm back to the charts, but one of my goals is to be the best National Hockey League player, which is going to be a lot of work because Showdowns, which is what I won, is my bread and butter. But maximum stakes, I was very close to playing maximum stakes in that game. I think I could have played 22 or 24 lineups, but a lot of the games is 20 max, so I just put 20 in everything. So I can only put like 10 or 20 more in the game. And that's going to be one of the problems in the regular season is lower maximum bets when you're, and it's, I mean, not a big problem because it's still good bets and it's still good income that I can make from it. And then in the playoffs, is where the games on the meta should be more favorable, and they also have higher wager sizes, which is something that I took advantage of in the playoffs last year. I'm gonna give you bonus information on Litecoin because it looks like it's starting to possibly set some stuff out here. I mean, 5 minutes, it's like, okay, nice little move, pull back, nice little move, pull back, and now we got the lower highs and higher lows. Yeah, on the singular term time frame, a little choppiness in here, and matched up to this high, making these higher lows, but 4 hours where it starts to get a little interesting, I think. It's been in this down move, but this is the third period here, halfway through this one as it is. But 3 just holding in the 18 average of highs like this. You know, maybe it's got the potential, but just something I would think keep your eye on kind of deal. And I think Bitcoin Cash is doing the same sort of deal. Yeah, it's sort of same sort of. Only 2 on the highs with this. But it had this beautiful run in here, and it's been holding it thus far. And, I mean, this is cool here. How they go right down this match, and this fast move up here. And now we run a whole bunch of periods just holding in this level of resistance. If this thing breaks out pretty nice, and it very easily could, we could have some tremendous moves within the crypto field. And for me, I was not trying to predict when they happen. It's just react to it. And a lot of times if it fails, okay, try again. Sort of like when you have like a child or someone or if you're a teacher or whatever trainer. And you're like, okay, you know they failed, but you know the progression's fine. And you know it's just a matter, you know it's all good in the end. In the sense, okay, yeah, just get back and try to teach them how to ride a bike or your girl how to ride a bike or whatever. And they get in an accident. If you teach them how to ride a car and then they crash in the garage or something, yeah, just, although my sister did that back in the day, but still throwing that part aside. Those are the things that happen. You just figure it out and you just do it. And you'll learn. In this case, of course, okay, attempt to break out, no, but at some point it will, and it's one of those things like I mentioned with Tezos, it's going to have to move. I highly believe it will. I wouldn't have the large stakes, which, in these games, like I do, my market, I'm not a millionaire, but if there a word for a 6-figure error, and if that's the case, that means on an hourly basis, my bankroll goes up or down, what I was winning on the DraftKings today, or 4 figures, just because 1% of 100 is 1,000, or 100,000 is 1,000. So I'm used to having these larger sort of moves, and I know, oh my goodness, if we do have like a day where Bitcoin Cash is up 40-60% in a day, I mean the portfolio I'd have is like, oh my goodness, and what I end up would be losing and winning will be winning, and thus I would be making the trades. And then if it goes down, how much would it be that I'd be losing or winning? Well, cryptocurrencies, I would have, like a lot of other people, I would take a significant hit. But what do I got backing that up for me? I got precious metals, and I have what I consider a good thing going for me amongst daily fantasy. That is almost it's dollars, and it's old school legacy based where I have an account. I don't have any private keys in it. If I ask for a withdraw, they'll take some taxes out of it, but they'll pay me, and they have every single time. So that's just the way I have it set up right now. But I'm very, very confident in this cryptocurrency game, and I'm confident that it's going to happen relatively soon. I do like the volume in here. I don't know what I like better. The way I had the volume before, it was too dark before. Now it's almost too light. It's almost like that Three Little Bears segment I talk about for moves. Oh, you don't want it too small or too large. I want it just right. Well, I got to find a way of getting this just too right, because before it was too dark. Now it's just too not undark. I want it darker. I just want something in the middle. I try to get rid of the colors. I don't need red and green lines. Unless you could really, really tell me what the volume meant. I mean, because if you can give me true red, green, and volume bars, that'd be great. What I mean by that is, what was the volume? Selling volume or buying volume? Because you could have a market go down that could be that of buyers. As weird as that might sound. Because one, maybe someone's got a huge sell order, and the market has went down, and they just take it kind of deals, just stuff like that. And that's just information that can be used. A lot of times, if you're looking for volume, if you just can actually look at the bid and ask orders in markets, and then see how buyer, and then the actual orders itself, you can put a lot of stuff together that way too. But I don't do it too much, because I'm usually, especially now that I'm doing a lot of the fantasy hockey, because I'm not much on the exchanges. For me, hardly at all. It's just, when do I need to trade? Okay, I put my numbers in for what all the prices are for everything in here. Okay, this is up or this is down. This, like, H bar is doing this. Oh, I love it set up right now. But I said, it's time to, I could sell this for that. Where do I want to sell it? What exchange? And then go over there, deposit the coins I need to, make the trade. Okay, withdraw what I need to, and the day or the transaction is done. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.